Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It's me, Isaiah, here with my favorite co-host, Mr. Moses Firmino.
What's going on, everybody?
And it's March Madness time. It's my favorite time of year. Mo and I love doing these bracket videos, the bubble watches, all of that stuff. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing a ton, and I mean a ton of March Madness content. You're going to get at least one bracket video a week. You're going to get at least
Talking
one bubble
massive.
watch video. Yes, and you're probably going to get a third. I'll be honest. We're gonna over
Who
deliver
knows?
on the content.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we've got a lot, those players to watch, those mid majors that you're gonna want to pick as you're filling out your bracket, which leads us to today. We will be filling out CBS Sports's bracket, giving you a quick bracketology of what we're feeling a couple weeks out from March Madness. We've got some time, but it's never too early to fill out a bracket, brother. So
I couldn't agree more. I am so excited to be here. Our first one, as they said, first of many. But
absolutely.
Zay and I've been locked in, so excited
to
bring y'all this first one.
Can't wait. And real quick, getting it out of the way. If you have a favorite team and we pick you to get upset, remember, it is a long time before the bracket. If we misspeak about a team or a player, there's still plenty of time. Let us know in the comments about your team. Inform other people about your team, why they should be picking them, why they should be maybe a little more afraid of them. Like, whatever it is as a fan, we want this to be a fun community as we're filling out brackets. And without further ado, Mo, why don't you get us started here? We've got a 16 against a 1. We're starting with the South region, aka Auburn. We've got American and Southeast Missouri State playing in to play Auburn. So I guess first off, who do you have as the 16 seed?
You know, as hot as the American have been, 9-1 in their last 10 games, currently leading the Patriot Conference. I don't even know if they're going to make it in the tournament.
Dang.
At this present moment, I would pick Colgate to make it out of the Patriot and probably win this play-in game. But Zay, I ultimately think it won't matter in the slightest as they're going up against the best team in college basketball this year in the Auburn Tigers.
Yes, and I agree with you. I'm picking the same as you. I will say, I know there was a lot of controversy about Auburn when they lost at home to Florida. Hey, are they still the one? Should they still be ranked first in the country? I'm so happy the committee decided to keep them there. They've got the best resume still, even with that Florida loss. They're going to have a game tomorrow when you're seeing this against the Tide. Maybe game of the year. I am so excited to see that. And even if they lose that, like in terms of being a 1 seed, Auburn is pretty safe. And I think they've got a really good chance of being the number 1 overall seed. So,
without a doubt,
nothing crazy here. We're taking Auburn.
Yep.
Next up, we've got an 8 versus 9. Your Mountain West Utah State team against the Buckeyes. And I'll get us going on this one here. I'm picking Ohio State to advance. I do respect this Utah State team. I think as we go through this, the Mountain West continues to just be a little disrespected. With that being said, depending on where the Buckeyes land, they've been a little shaky. This isn't one I'm very confident about, but I think Bruce Thornton could absolutely be a name as we leave this March Madness where we're like, wow, this dude is a certified bucket getter in the biggest stage. And honestly, could give a 1 seed a problem or a 2 seed, depending on where the Buckeyes land in the next round. But who have you got in this game?
I am going to agree with you. We're going to start out 2 for 2 in the South.
Yeah,
I just for whatever reason, it could be the just conference differential. I know the Mountain
yeah,
West Conference is getting unnecessary hate with the non-ranking of New Mexico, which we'll talk about them in a little bit. But
ridiculous.
I do view another rough March for the Mountain West, unfortunately,
Yeah.
except for that team that we'll talk about in a bit. Um,
Mhm,
Utah State has a great resume, 3-0 in quad one, while Ohio State
mhm.
is sitting at 5-7, but the strength of
Yep,
those quad one matchups are quite different. So I'm gonna give
mhm.
the Buckeyes the nod. No disrespect to the Aggies, great season. Probably right now if I had
Yeah,
to pick my winner in the Mountain West, but gonna go with Ohio State here.
I agree. Ohio State as well, 26th in the net. They're always gonna be high. If you're a good March Madness caliber team and you're playing in a power conference, you're gonna be solid in the net.
100%.
Moving on. This is in my top 3 favorite teams to watch this season. St. John's. I love this team. Am I saying they can win a title with this team? We'll have to see. I'm gonna say no because of how awful they are in terms of shooting the three. They
Yeah.
listen, they shoot it. And funnily enough, them losing to Villanova, they hit 11 threes. In most games, if you tell Rick Pitino your team hits 11 threes, he's like, "Oh, we won."
We
And
easily won.
yeah, like we comfortably took care of business. That that was not the case. They did get upset by Villanova, but I love this Johnny's team. If you have yet to see them play, they hustle their ass off every single play. Their defensive rotations are incredible. Like it's a work of art. As a basketball fan, throw on a random St. John's game and watch them on defense. I promise you will not be disappointed. They're going to grind you out every game, and their defense keeps them in against any opponent at any site. Um, and I don't love this bracket that he's cooking up with Indiana and Arkansas. I don't think either of these are tournament teams to me yet.
I would agree. I would totally agree.
S-
In this matchup, I'm also going to go with St. John's. So we're 3 for
Yeah.
3.
Hmm.
Um, as you were talking about their defense, say I was genuinely getting chills. Like I
Yeah.
genuinely like stand up and am applauding this team on defense, cheering like I'm on the bench.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. Patino has them firing on all cylinders, and like you
Hmm.
said, 3-point shooting not the best in the nation, but
No.
defense travels, and I think they're gonna be looking to go on a deep run in March. So
Yeah, they're in the 300s in terms of three-point shooting in the country. It's if there is something that is going to eliminate them from a game, it's the mathematical, "Hey, we're Missouri, right?" They're a great example. We chuck up a lot of threes. And if we get hot against you, you can't stop us because you can't keep up.
mm-hmm.
It's sometimes that simple, right? Like, we don't have to overthink some of these things, but their defense is incredible. So, got the Johnnies winning. Next up, the Wolverines of Michigan going up against Arkansas State. Do you have an upset here? Do you got the Wolverines taking care of business?
I am actually a big Wolverines guy this year.
Nice. I can't
Six
blame you.
6-3 quad one, 5-2 quad two, handling their business in the quads 3 and 4 with no losses. I'm just loving that Florida Atlantic energy still kind of buzzing for whatever
Mhm.
reason. From I'm forgetting their coach's name, but and Vladislav Golden still playing for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
It's pretty entertaining. And Danny Wolf, man, that kid's a baller. He
too.
can hoop. So
Yes.
I'm not gonna disrespect Arkansas State, but I think Michigan is gonna in this matchup they would take care of business.
Yeah, this is truly. I really like this Wolverines team, and I feel like the more I see from them, the more impressed that I am. They've got solid depth across their team. Like you said, um, Trey Donaldson is great as a guard in terms of distributing over 4 assists per game. They're just a very complete team. And obviously, the two quad two losses aren't great, but one of them's to Wake Forest at a neutral site, who is in this, at least in the bracket, as one of the last four in. So I like your pick here, man. I agree, and I've got the Wolverines as well.
Love it.
Sticking pretty chalky so far, and this is one that breaks my heart if this is how this happens, because no joke, these are two of my favorite teams in the country, in Illinois, and a absolute darling, and I'm so happy CBS has them comfortably in the bracket. UC
Agreed.
San Diego. Mode, get it. Take this one away. This is you.
This team is eligible for the tournament for the first time, and they are just killing squads out in the Big West.
Mm-hmm.
UC San Diego sitting at net 48 for a mid-major. Insane.
That's
20 and
so
4 on the
impressive.
year. Just unbelievable season from this team and totally deserving of being in March. The downside to this roster is they cannot rebound to save their families. They get steals. They average over 10 steals a game, which is insane. They
Yep.
can play defense, but they can't grab boards. And when you're going up against one of the best teams in the nation in Illinois, even though they have had their struggles this year, you just absolutely cannot afford that. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, as you said, sticking with the chalk, but got the Illini. But
Uh,
man, watch out for San Diego if they can get a favorable matchup. Watch out.
yes. That's exactly what it is. If UC San Diego is moved with some of these other teams in the bracket, I'm taking them, and they have a legitimate chance to make it to the second weekend. Like you said, defensively, very sound. They have the steals leader in the country on that team. They hound you. They've got a lot of athletic wings that they use to blitz you. But I just love this Illinois team. They're currently 12th in the net, 7-7 in quad one games. And Yaka Jonas, if you are an NBA fan, maybe who's looking to see a player, he is a legitimate top 5 pick in this year's upcoming NBA draft. He's got great size, great athleticism. He distributes the ball very well. And I think this Illini team, as we'll see, can go on a serious run in this year's tournament.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
They need to
Uh,
be in.
I agree. I agree. Next up, the Wildcats. And this is a really good team. They're going up against Northern Colorado, fellow Big Sky team, since my Eags will be nowhere near this tournament this year. I like this Kentucky squad. They are on pace for, I believe, the most quad one wins in their school history. They're on fire right now. And I simply can't pick against Kentucky in this game.
I couldn't agree more. They kind of got a little wake up call when ex-coach John Calipari came in and
Mm-hmm.
stole a W from them. That kind of woke this Wildcats team up, and they're looking good, man.
Yeah.
Looking good. So
That
I'm
that
sticking
win
with
over
you.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
that win over Tennessee is amazing.
Yep.
Great attack offensively, 1.17 points per possession, really sound defense. I like this Wildcats team and wouldn't be surprised to see them, go on a run. Defensively, I think holds them back from a title team, but they're still competent enough to keep up with these opponents.
Fully agree.
Next up, we've got Louisville up against Vanderbilt. And I think it's so awesome to see Louisville comfortably in the bracket. It's been a while since this team has been relevant.
Yeah.
They're coming off a 57.9% shooting performance from three against NC State. Just a dominant game. And for Vanderbilt, I like them. The SEC is incredible. You don't need us here to say that. But I'm trending down on them. So I feel pretty good taking Louisville. But Mo, who have you got?
Yeah. Vanderbilt does definitely have those high-end wins.
Mm-hmm.
But the inconsistency it's a little scary. It's their resume is very odd. Some great highs, some low lows. I'm also gonna stick with Louisville, a team that growing up loved seeing in March very often and very successful. Liking the squad this year, man. I got Louisville going.
I love it. We're following through the whole way, and I have a feeling this one won't be any different. 2 seed Houston against Central Connecticut State. No disrespect at all. This Houston team is simply too good. If you can't play defense, you can't play for Calvin Sampson. LJ Cryer has been amazing. I love this Houston team. They can absolutely make it out of this region.
Without a doubt, this Houston team is dangerous. I know they've been 1-2 seed these past few years, but this is debatably one of the best teams that they've had in the past 3-4 years. So,
yeah, they're amazing. There's not much else to say. Circling back up to the round of 32, the Auburn Tigers against the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think this is simply where there's too much talent for Auburn. And while I could see a Bruce Thornton masterclass, one of these 1 seeds always gets clipped in the round of 32. I don't think it's the Tigers.
I fully agree. Too much depth. Been getting it done with injuries, with guys in and out of the lineup. This team, when they're at full strength, it's going to be a treat to watch.
Love it. Next up, another one, 2 teams that I love, man, and could see them both going far if they had, opposing matchups. But I'm sticking with my Johnnies. I'm sticking with my Johnnies to win.
Dude,
I love their defense.
It's not scripted in the South, man, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. Dude, real quick, this is a very hard region for Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Michigan, very good. St. John's, very good. Kentucky can get hot. Houston, dude, I'm mad. I'm the number 1 team in the country, and this is who I get.
Yeah. It's similar to what we said about UConn last year when we're looking at the bracket and we're like, dude, they kind of screwed them over a little bit, man. This is not an easy run. Obviously, this is hypothetical, but damn.
Yeah.
Damn. This is the first one I have that's an upset. 6 over 3. I've got the Fighting Illini taking care of the Wildcats. Dude. Are we locked?
I agree. I'm out on Kentucky. I'm kind of out on Kentucky.
Really?
Couple too many. I know this is the usual. They're younger. It's a new coaching staff. It's tough, man. It's tough. But whatever I don't have it. It's my notes are all over the place right now. There was a loss, questionable in close games. awful loss in double overtime. Obviously, it's to Houston, who is amazing, but they blew a lead in the first overtime. I just don't like how they close out games. I'm out on oh. I was reading. Never mind.
It
We'll talk
happens.
about them
It
in a
happens.
minute. But I
Okay.
am out on Kentucky.
Okay. That's the important part.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear what team you're talking about then. Um, and next, as much as I love this Louisville team, I'm taking Houston. I think that
Again, too
defense.
much talent, too much. Yep.
It's a dagger, man. Mo, go ahead with this Sweet 16 game. Auburn St. John's. Who have you got?
Bro, as much as I want St. John's to go deep in this bracket, I have the Tigers knocking them off,
I do too.
overpowering them on offense, hitting some threes. Yeah.
I do too. Again, I can't let my love blind me from how good Janai Broom is and how great of a coach Bruce Pearl is. Obviously, Patino, you could argue, is the greatest college basketball coach ever. I won't argue against you. That's a fine one. But yeah, this Auburn team is so good. They're so good. So I'm with you. This one might be a little more controversial. I've got the Fighting Illini beating
Wow.
Houston and going Elite Eight.
Okay. Okay.
I'm as things stand right now, I'm feeling good about them. They have the criteria. I'm blanking on what it is off the top of my head, but you have to be a certain number offensively and defensively in the net, and they meet that requirement. I've loved the eye test with this team. It feels like every time I tune into an Illinois game, I feel more and more confident that they can make it to the Elite Eight.
I'm not mad at that. And looking back at my note, I was gonna say, wow, man, I'm going to Houston.
Not
33
bad.
game home. I know this is gonna be neutral and all that, but
Yeah.
the culture, 33 game home win streak snapped this season.
Mm-hmm.
Practice how you play. I have a note, just a couple games that I've watched. The bigs prone to some foul trouble. I don't like how obviously they play great D, but I got the fighting, and I'll take them with you, bro. I'll take them with you.
I love it, man. With all that hype being said, I'm picking Auburn to go.
I was about to say, but my love ends. I got
Yes,
Auburn.
yeah. Like, listen, I love this Illini team. I really, really do. Clearly, I have them going to Elite Eight and knocking off Kentucky, Houston. If that doesn't cement you on, like, I clearly feel strongly about this team. But dude, Auburn is so good. To see Auburn go out before the Elite Eight would really surprise me. Like,
100%.
They almost feel like you pencil them in there. Yeah. They're a good ass team, man.
Damn.
So there's your South. Yep. They're deep, man. They're deep. Next up, the West region, led by 1 seed Duke and other Player of the Year candidate Cooper Flagg, who has been a sensational rookie for the Blue Devils, going up against Bryant. Who have you got, Mo? Oh wow.
No hate to Bryant, but this game might get ugly.
I mean,
this team in Bryant, they're pretty lit. They score. They can score.
Mm-hmm.
They score with the best of them.
Yeah.
But I think there's some levels. Yeah.
I think so too. They space the hell out of the floor, and they play pretty quick too. But you're playing Duke, respectfully. And if this comes back to bite us in the ass, cool. If Bryant goes on a Sweet 16 run, you won't hear hate from us. But yeah, I've got the Blue Devils.
Yep, 100%.
Next up, another great game. Nebraska as an 8 seed against New Mexico as the 9. Um, while Nebraska lost at home against Maryland, they still feel totally great as an at-large team, with 3 to 5 quad 1 games remaining. So really their seed is in their own hands. We'll really get to see what the Huskers do, but they look poised to make it to the tournament back-to-back years. As for New Mexico, last year when I filled out my bracket, I had them going Final Four. Was maybe a little too bold on them since they lost in the round of 64. But I'm sticking with them. I think the younger Patino is going to take care of business. Top 20 defense in effective field goal D since the start of the calendar year. I like the way these Lobos play, and I've got them beating the Huskers.
I agree, man. This New Mexico team is very good. Little biased note here. Boise State blew out the Wyoming Cowboys by 41 at home. The following game in New Mexico, we lost by 19. This team is no joke, man. Obviously, that's one game, middle of the season, but I think they're going to take that round of 64 loss from last year. They're going to make it into the tournament, and they're going to find a way to win the game. This is a very tough matchup for them if they do get Nebraska.
Yes.
But I'm going with the Lobos.
I love it. Really, in terms of resume, the only things holding them back, they have a quad 4 loss to New Mexico State by 6.
Man,
they have a quad 3 loss as well to San Jose State. But they've been hot.
Teams in those quad 4 losses, man. It's
I know, man. I know. They do have a win on a neutral court against UCLA and on the road against Utah State. So they've got more quad 1 victories. Yeah, more quad 1 victories than a team in North Carolina. Thank God they're not in this bracket. I would have had to say the moment I see them in a bracket, guys, I'm warning you, there will be a crash out of exponential proportions. But today's not that day.
They have no pick.
They're buns.
Sorry.
They are buns, man. But we can keep it moving.
We could keep it moving.
We can keep it pushing. Next up, 5 seed Kansas against 12 seed Yale. I was lucky enough last year to see Yale in March Madness knock out Auburn, and it was a hell of a game.
That's okay. Sorry.
Them boys were cooking. What a hell of a game. One of the favorite games I've ever seen in person, and they look to be returning multiple players from that team. They 7-0 in conference play. I'm not feeling good about this Jayhawks team.
I'm out on Kansas. This was the team I was talking about before when I mentioned Kentucky because I had them right next to each other. I was talking about Kansas. Give me Yale. Give me Yale.
So, Mo, I'm not mad. I'm out on Kansas. I was out on them last. We both were. We were out on them last year, and they got bounced in the round of 32. Yeah,
I used to love the Jayhawks. When Devontae Graham was there, man.
Oh man, Frank Mason was a dog. They've had some great players. The eye test is a big one for me. I'm just not impressed by this team. I don't think they're a legitimate contender. I have Kansas beating Yale, but we'll get to it real quick. It's the only game I have them winning. So leave it at that.
I'm gonna just have Yale run it back.
Yeah, but love it. I'm keeping Yale on the bracket for you because I love it. I'm not gonna be the one to argue for the Jayhawks, man.
Yep.
Next up is Ole Miss against Jacksonville State. I'm a little surprised to see Ole Miss as a 4. I feel like they're more of a 5, but uh, I really like this Rebels team. When they are fully locked in defensively, they could clamp up any team in the country. Like that is what is going to keep them in games. They really struggle with rebounding. That is their Achilles heel, but defensively in your face, they can blitz you. When they're on 10, similar to what I said with St. John's, it can be beautiful to see. They knock the 3 ball down very well. Chris Beard is a phenomenal coach. I've got
Yep.
the Rebels taking care of business against Jacksonville State.
I do as well. 5 and 6 in quad 1 against really good competition, but sweeping the rest of the quad games. I am totally in agreement on the defensive prowess of this team, and especially considering the first round or the other first round matchup that they'll be playing. I see them going
Yeah.
deep in this tournament. So
Yeah, I will say to Jacksonville State's credit, very solid on defense as well, and they are a way better rebounding team. But I can't pick against the Rebels. I really like this team and could see them going on a little bit of a run in the tournament. So another SEC team, and now we're going to talk about another SEC team in Mississippi State going up against the Drake Bulldogs. For Mississippi State, they've lost 5 of their last 8 games. 240th and beyond in effective field goal defense in the last month. I'm not liking what they're seeing. They're on the wrong side of where you want to be at this time.
yeah,
I'm
tough
taking
slide.
I'm taking Drake.
I love Drake's resume.
Mm-hmm. I think they're always there.
Always there. 2 quad 1 wins over Vanderbilt, who, as we've said, has been on the slide, but that was a non-conference neutral site. And on the road at Kansas State, who has also been struggling this year, but has some really good wins over some high-end teams. So
they're getting hot. They're getting hot.
Yep.
So you're joining me? You taking Drake, or are you?
I'm sorry. Yes,
in?
I'm joining.
Okay.
I'm joining on the Drake upset.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Michigan State, they're coming off a loss at home to Indiana, and it was ugly. It was very ugly. 18.2% from 3 that game. It was a mess. I am not going to hold it too heavily on Michigan State, and we know how Izzo is in March, but not a good game. And Indiana is not a hot team. So taking that loss at home is ugly. And they're taking on Lipscomb. Even with the struggles I have seen recently from Michigan State, I'm taking the Sparties to go on in advance.
I agree. Tough game the other night for sure.
You can't lose that.
But Izzo in March, he's gonna get one. And maybe
at least,
string them together. Yep. So
that's how I'm feeling.
Yep.
That's how I'm feeling. Next up, another team that always wins their first game, the Oregon Ducks against West Virginia, who I really like. I like Tucker DeVries. I like Small. I like that West Virginia team. And maybe I like Oregon so much that I spelt their name wrong. Catching that here. I'm going with the Ducks to advance to the next round as a 7 seed. But again, this is one of those tough matchups. I like both these teams and could see them both making it to the second weekend. Oregon's got a really weird resume. They've got a ton of they've got a couple quad 2 losses, a mixed bag in the quad 1 department. They got back on track with a win over Northwestern, but they got to stop the bleeding with these losses and quickly. As for West Virginia, 5 quad one victories, in a good spot, but again, their spot is not safe. They could fall out of the tournament if they don't play their cards right here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love the Ducks this year, even though they have quite the weird resume. They are 4-0 on neutral site in neutral site games this year. So
Nice.
liking them in a March Madness type environment. Give me the Ducks.
I like it. I like it. Last up, Texas A&M is a 2 seed, a team that I love. Wade Taylor is a senior. We saw in the last game that A&M has legitimate title upside. I feel that confident about this team. Yet again, another SEC team taking on
Insane.
Norfolk State. Stifling defense. That's the biggest takeaway from Norfolk State. But A&M's got sound defense and very good offense as well. I'm going with A&M to advance.
I also have the Aggies moving on. But hey, we might see a little defensive masterpiece in this one.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that, man. You might get a low scoring game, especially it's the first game of the tournament. That's how those sneaky upsets happen, though, man. Like, Wade Taylor has struggled before in his career. We've seen it. All it takes is Norfolk State clamping up, and who knows what can happen, but I'm taking
He'll
A&M.
also get a steal and go 1-on-4 against the opposition and
Dude.
score a Euro rim protected layup, and that's just what he does. So
that is 100% true. I love it. Next up, Mo, get us started. This is your any Mountain West team. I'm deferring to you first from now on. Got the Blue Devils against New Mexico. Do you have an upset here?
As much as I would love the Lobos to pull this one off, I just think Duke and Flag and company gonna get the job done. Really liking the squad that they have. The other freshman they got over there, Ron Knippel's pretty freaking good too. So would be a really fire game. I think high scoring game. Duke would have to be kind of on that what they did against North Carolina type offensive performance. But give me Duke.
I agree, man. Everything you said, I like this New Mexico team a lot. If they got a different poll against a different 1 seed, maybe I consider it more. But I think this Blue Devils team is too good to go out and around the 32.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm going to defer to you again. Do you have Yale staying hot as a 12 seed after their win over Kansas and beating 4 seed Ole Miss?
I unfortunately have the Cinderella train coming to an end after 1 game. I have the Rebels clutching up here and kind of putting Yale back into the I don't know where I was trying to think of it.
They're fine. They can lose. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Okay. Let the Rebels win something. I have Ole Miss as well. I had Kansas
over Kansas.
Here.
Yep.
I don't trust that Kansas team. I barely picked them over Yale. I'm not picking them over Ole Miss, who I feel better about. 9.1 steals per game for Ole Miss as well. 31st in the country in that department. They can really hound you, and they shoot the 3 ball well as well. Next up, Drake. Look out against Michigan State. I'm doing it.
I was about to say I'm low-key doing it too. I'm low-key down. Yeah, that Indiana game, man, that's just too late in the year for that to be going on.
it raises a big flag. No Cooper, because it's like, man, that's not when you should lose. It's not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm going with Drake with the upset. However, Tom Izzo and March, we know what he does, man. So
Mhm. Dang, bro. Drake's nice though, man. Some of
they
these
are
stats I'm seeing, they really, oh my gosh, they really board, they really clamp, they shoot well.
shoot very well. One of the best shooting
Yeah,
teams in the country. So
yeah.
I like this Drake team, man. I got a little Cinderella run making it to the second weekend. Uh, what do you got here? Do you have another upset with Oregon and Texas A&M?
I damn, that would be a really good game. I don't. I
Yeah,
think Texas A&M, as you said, that championship upside too high.
yeah,
And just for my bracket, because I don't. I'm gonna let it play out, but just for the bracket, I need
yeah,
them to stay alive.
yeah. Um, Now to Duke and Ole Miss. I think this is where Ole Miss's run comes to an end. I'm
Agreed.
keeping Duke moving, man. I've got them Elite Eight. I know they're young, but Tyrese Proctor, they've got some great pieces there. I like this Duke team, and even with that Clemson loss, I still feel really good about them.
I agree. That's a really tough game.
Mm-hmm.
You're a freaking shoe malfunction away from maybe winning that game,
Dude,
so not
yeah.
too worried about that. But I also have Duke here overcoming
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss, and yeah, man, making it to that Elite Eight
That
again.
Elite Eight. That Elite Eight. To join them here, I've got the Cinderella run ending.
I
I've
do
got
as
one
well.
seed versus two seed. Yeah, I've got A&M.
Chalky chalk chalk. How boring.
It
But
is. It
guess
is.
what? Guess what?
Mo,
No more chalk, man. Give me A&M. Give me A&M.
I do too. I've got the
Yep.
Aggies going to the Final
Yep.
Four, an SEC on SEC matchup in the Final Four against Auburn.
Dude,
Banger of a game.
what? Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that's what we just did, but
Yeah, they're Final Four, man. To the right side of the bracket, who will be joining them? You'll never guess. It's a one seed from the SEC. It's Alabama. Crimson Tide team is
dude,
incredible. They're taking on the Southern Jaguars, maybe the most NBA type team in the country. Getting to see
bro,
Mark Sears in person, he's a stud. Grant
bro.
Nelson, athletic as hell.
Yep. Um, Southern man. You know, it's it's a really tough matchup for for them,
Yeah.
and I think it got the Tide rolling, making a statement in round one to
Yeah.
just to the other one seeds that hey, we want to see you guys in the final four. So
Yeah. I will, to Southern's credit, 5 quad one games. They've played Iowa, A&M, Ole Miss, USC, Nebraska. They lost all of them. But you're battle tested. You've at least
yeah,
seen tourney
that's
teams
good.
throughout your whole
Hmm.
year. And hey, 10-1 in conference, we'll see. But yeah, I'm taking Bama. Um, Next up, my Gonzaga Bulldogs coming off a victory to San Francisco. They desperately needed this win. Uh, their resume is not great. Their two big wins both came in November. Baylor and San Diego State. San Diego State is barely hanging on. in the bracket, and Baylor is not the top 3 seed that we anticipated. This is a Zags team I've seen a lot of hoops from. A lot of hoops from since I was a baby. And while Mark Few has been on fire in the tournament, and as much as this breaks my heart to say, I'm going with Maryland, who has been a hot team. Uh, the Queen and Reese tandem for Maryland legitimately gives them the upside, and I'm not kidding, to make it out of a region. That is how confident I feel about this Maryland team, and I do not feel good about this Zags team. Give me the Terps.
I have them as well, which it's crazy. Gonzaga's having a down year. Second in points per game at 87.2. First in assists due to Nemhard being the assist leader in the country. But 19.4. Like, this team, like, the stats say that they're a great team. But as
They're
you've
not.
said, we've watched and
They're not.
witnessed. This is not a good Zags team, man. They don't
No.
have that guy. Obviously, you could say it's Nemhard, but they don't have that guy. That's that Rui, that Kisper, that Nigel Williams, that guy who's gonna be there for them in the biggest moment. I just don't have that trust in any of these Bulldogs this year. I also am rocking with Maryland.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Caleb Battle. That has not been the case. I thought it was going to be Graham Ike. His on-court shenanigans from time to time hold me back from that belief, even though he is a great basketball player. Nolan Hickman has been shooting the ball very well, especially the second half of the year. So let me give him that. And like you said, Ryan Nemhard, if you haven't seen him play and pass the ball, my God, it is beautiful. He's got that thing on a rope. Any of his teammates are so lucky, because I don't know how many times you're going to get to play with a point guard who sets you up like that. But I'm taking Maryland.
100%.
Next up is 5 seed Arizona, they were dead in the water a little bit earlier in the year, and they've started to pick it back up, taking a home loss to Kansas State. I think, honestly, if I'm being real, I think it's more of an indictment of how good Kansas State is playing right now than Arizona was caught slipping. I really think Kansas State is getting that NC State thing a little bit from last year.
Yeah.
But earlier than conference play, they've still got plenty of work to do. But that one doesn't worry me too much about the Wildcats taking on George Mason, who I really like, man. I really like this team. And I want to pick them, but I like the way Arizona's playing. I'm taking chalk, as boring as it is, with the Wildcats.
I am also taking chalk, but agreed on George Mason. VCU, who is currently, I believe, they're 10-2. George Mason's 11-1. I'd like George Mason over VCU. I'm kind of out on them.
Here's my thing. I'm not mad at that. The bubble this year is not strong. Bring them both in. I'd rather see both these teams in than a ridiculous North Carolina, than in Indiana. I wouldn't mind Arkansas, so I'll leave them out. But I want both these teams in, if I'm being honest. But only Mason is in this bracket. That's my take. Next up, Memphis going up against High Point. High Point was a team last year we were both really rooting for to make the tournament. They shot the 3 ball really well. have some great inside outside combination this year, can score very well. Um, and this Memphis team is so weird because they truly play to their competition.
Mhm.
Like, if they're playing a 1 seed, they're gonna play up to that 1 seed talent. And then they have losses to Arkansas State and Temple, Arkansas State being a home one. And while Arkansas State is a tourney team in this for winning their conference, that's not a good loss.
Yeah.
Those are really bad losses. But then you have
Cool.
wins over UConn, over Michigan State, over Clemson, over Ole Miss, over Missouri. Like it's very weird. They play to their comp, but I'm taking Memphis to advance.
Another team that has been very solid on neutral site, their only loss being to the best team in the country in Auburn.
Happens.
Give me Memphis. It does
Yeah.
happen. Give me
Yep.
Memphis.
Yep.
Like you said though, definitely a little scary that they
Mhm.
fluctuate so much. But
Yes.
give me the Tigers.
I think they are the boomer bust team. They're the most volatile team in this bracket where
Yeah.
they could go Final Four
Mm-hmm.
legitimately. Like PJ
Mm-hmm.
Haggerty is ridiculous. Penny Hardaway is a great coach.
They've
Um,
I have to give them their applause. They've just turned
yeah.
into an amazing basketball program.
Hmm. And it's interesting because you see it with Kansas State where they have all these transfers, and it takes a little time for them to sink. Penny loves the transfer portal. He's totally embraced it, but his
Yep.
guys sink day one, and it's a testament to how he's building that program. I've got the Tigers advancing. Um,
Agreed.
Next up, got UCLA going up against 11 seed Georgia and Wake Forest. Mo, first off, who have you got in the 11 game, and then do you have them pulling up an upset against UCLA?
I would go surprise, surprise. I'd lean SEC and take Georgia,
I would too.
but it's not going to matter because, as you know, streaky as this UCLA team has been,
Mhm.
um, I just have this interesting feeling that they are coming off a loss in their most recent game. I think they're gonna get hot again going into the conference tournament, have a great conference tournament, and just kick it on in March. This team is kind of built for a little sleepy run,
I
um,
agree. Oh, man,
especially
I agree.
especially with the draw in
Mhm.
this. I
I
got the
I
Bruins.
agree. I love it. I've got Georgia winning and then playing UCLA. Mara has really emerged and kind of brought the preseason hype that we were expecting with the Bruins.
Mhm.
7 straight dubs. They are top 10 in Torvik during the stretch. I love a lot of what I'm seeing from this Bruins team right now, and I've got them advancing in the tournament. I am forever rooting for Wake Forest to make it. I wanted them to last year. Hunter Silas' Zags transfer has turned it up. A great scorer and a guy who honestly could play at the next level, potentially a first round pick. So I'll give that to Wake Forest, but I like what I'm seeing from UCLA.
Mick Cronin, that was who I was looking up. Unbelievable coach
Yes,
as well.
he's amazing. One of the best in the
Yep.
in the country.
Mhm.
Um, Next up is Iowa State going up against Utah Valley. Iowa State's been a weird one. I don't know if that's just me.
No,
I
not
s-
just you. I have
okay.
weird vibes. I have weird vibes.
I
I can't put
I
my
do
finger
too.
on it. But
I do too. They've been very shaky. They had the I believe 3-game losing streak that they went on. Um and while I have no doubt that I'm picking them to win this game. I'm picking them to win this game.
yep.
But I I don't I don't know, man. We'll loop back to Iowa State, but for Utah Valley, um, they're battling with Grand Canyon for that conference title, 9-1 in league play. we'll see if they can get it done in the WAC.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
Cyclones, but yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be an interesting close considering GCU has been that team these last few
They
years.
have.
Can they get a
Mhm.
new representative?
Yeah. They and for Iowa State, they dismantled TCU. It was a barn burner, a 30+ point victory. Uh yeah, a single this was the other note I had. Not a single TCU player put up 10 points. Enough said about how that game went. Iowa State took it out
Yeah,
on the court. See, when I see that, I see Final Four. And then we'll get back to them.
yeah,
Next up is 7 seed Clemson.
bro.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, they're another I'm kind of surprised they're comfortably in.
They're 3-8 in conference. I know it's the best conference in the nation.
Yeah.
But you're 3-8.
And they've lost 3 of their last 5.
I mean, like they're undefeated in non-com, like, but damn, man, give me the Tigers.
I'm with you as well. As you will see, really like this Clemson team. I think they're playing their best basketball at the right time. A great win over Duke. That game was amazing. They're just a very sound team. They play defense well. They score the ball well. I really like this Clemson team, as we'll get to in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the final first round matchup will have Purdue going up against Cleveland State. Mo, who have you got?
I am going to take Purdue.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought you were about to surprise me here for for a second.
nope. I was just like, never mind. The Boilermakers, Braden Smith and company. I'm personally a little bullish, but
Mm,
they're gonna win this game. They might win this next game. We'll see. We'll see where they end up. But
yeah. They're so interesting because they're so top heavy offensively. It's Braden
yeah,
Smith, Trey Kaufman, and Fletcher Lawyer. If any of them get in foul trouble, and we saw it recently, they're in big trouble against any opponent in their recent loss to Michigan. I, I've got the Boilermakers winning, but I'm cautious. This region has a lot of teams I'm iffy about.
yeah,
On to the round of 32. All the amazing things I said about Maryland, where I really do think they could surprise people and make it out of a region. Not the one with Alabama. I've got the Tide advancing.
yeah. They're gonna be rolling Tide to
Mm-hmm.
a while. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
I'll
yep.
leave it at
I
that.
can't wait for that Auburn game. Ooh, I'm rubbing
Yeah,
my
that's
hands
gonna
like Birdman.
Yep.
Can't wait. Um, Next up, Arizona against Memphis. Who have you got in this game?
I'm gonna go with the Wildcats
Okay.
to get it done over the Tigers, but that'll be a really good matchup
That's a
if that does
very good game.
happen. Yeah.
I've got Memphis, but this is a coin flip for me, man. I
Yep.
want this game so bad now. Like, I hope the committee sees CBS's bracket and is like, we could try and set that up.
We could do that.
See if we can get that. Yeah. Um, I'm going with Memphis, but again, I love this Wildcats team too, so can't be mad
Mhm.
at that. Uh, for this next one, I think we both have it. Given the way we were talking about them, I've got UCLA beating
I
the
got the Bruins,
Cyclones.
man. Yep.
Love it, love it. I love the way they're playing right now, man. They're really impressing me.
They're just clicking on all cylinders. They're making it look easy out there right now. Again, they are streaky, so hopefully this doesn't come back to bite us. But
Yeah,
I'm feeling the confidence in UCLA.
I love it. And I'm going with pure mayhem with Clemson and Purdue. I'm going with the Tigers, who I think are underseeded as a 7 to upset Purdue. This is
Mm,
my crazier region. I've got a 6 versus 7 in the Sweet 16
mm.
with Bama and Memphis squabbling up top. Who have you got with Clemson and Purdue?
I would just be, as a Boise State fan, if I saw Clemson beating Purdue, knowing that, albeit we beat them early in the year, this is a completely different
Mhm.
Tigers team. I would be way too sick. And as much as I said I was
Okay.
bullish on Purdue, I'm going to have the Boilermakers
Okay.
sliding by one more game. And we
Okay.
know. We know.
Okay. So we'll go with you first. You've got the Tide versus the Wildcats. Do you have a surprise here, knocking off the Tide, or is it chalk?
As boring as it sounds, and as
Yeah.
much as I talked about, needing to pick a little more upsets before we started recording, give me the Tide.
I have Bama versus Memphis, and I'm going with the same thing. I think this Crimson Tide team is phenomenal. Got them going to the Elite Eight, and then you may as well go with the next one. Got UCLA and Purdue. What do you got?
This is where I'll throw my mayhem, my upsets in. Give me the
Yep.
Bruins to shock the world, go on the run, make it to the Elite Eight again, man.
I am not mad at that. I've got UCLA versus Clemson, and I'm going with Clemson. I love the way they're shooting the
Mm.
three ball. I've got a 7 seed making it to the Elite Eight, going on a run, squaring off against Alabama. And I'll rip the band aid off now to go to the Final Four. It's boring, man, but they are
1-1,
so
1-2-1
good.
is what we got,
I
but
know. I know.
I'm
It
there. I just, yeah, man. I feel like, oh no, this season it was interesting. I feel like past years you have that undefeated, maybe one loss
Mhm.
team in there. Everyone's
Yep.
kind of had their blows, their nicks.
Mhm.
Um, but I just think these top teams are in a tier of their own, so to speak, and we'll see when the time comes. But I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is right now on the chalk.
I know. I hated sport. Listen, we went with some upsets, but ultimately I think they're too good. This next region is interesting to me. We've got Florida as a 1 seed on CBS. Tennessee is a 2. Normally those are flipped on ESPN with Lenardi, but we're cooking up a little different on CBS apparently. Uh Florida go another SEC 1 seed, and the 2 seed is also an SEC team. A ridiculous year for the conference. Going up against either Merrimack or Nebraska, Omaha. Who have you got in this game? Anything shocking?
I unfortunately do not. This Florida team is damn good.
Yep.
Also been struggling with some injuries and still getting it done. Give me the Gators to make it through to round 60, 32. Sorry.
That's my biggest thing, man. They are banged up all year. You had Walter Clayton miss time. You had Condon miss time. You had I'm blanking on his name, but missed the Auburn game. They've dealt with injuries all year, and it has not hindered them one bit. They are a tremendous team, and I think this Gators team is going to be scary.
They had a guy almost drop a triple-double off the bench the other night.
Yeah, they're deep. Everything. This Gators team is legit, man.
Thomas Howe. Shout out Thomas.
Bro was in his Duffy. His Duffy.
5 players in double-digit scoring. Like, this team is just deep, man.
They're deep. They're going to be a problem. 8-9 seed Dan Hurley, the best effing coach in the sport, according to him, going up against St. Mary. He said Baldy. Calling people Baldy.
Baldy is crazy.
Baldy is crazy, but Dan Hurley, only Dan, man. That is absurd. Going up against the Gales, the second team out of the WCC.
Dude. This is a good matchup.
McNeely went stupid.
But I have you corn. You corn. Give me the Husky.
I do too. I really like the St. Mary's team. Wouldn't be surprised to see them win the WCC. They are a tremendous team. Dan Hurley in March. Cannot pick against him in that opening round.
I hate how they got this draw in this bracket because I wanted them to three-peat so bad, but I have a news flash. It's not happening.
I don't see it, man.
Unless Liam keeps dropping 40 pieces.
38 and 10. I mean, if you're doing that, another NBA guy for those looking, but
dude, that is insane. I missed the performance. I've been meaning to watch that one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they had it was a $1 beer night when he did that too. I feel like I saw a tweet about it, but having a $1 beer night and then seeing McNeely do that is absurd. But
that is disgusting.
That boy in his bag. That boy in his bag. Next up, 5 seed Marquette. Been a little interesting year. 3 straight losses. To me, has some serious front court issues that hold them back from being a title team. And McNeese as a 12 seed again, who people loved last year and then got belt to ass by the Zags in the tournament. I think this McNeese team is worse than it was last year, in my opinion. So I'm going with Marquette to advance, even with what I'm seeing from them.
I have Marquette as well, but if you guys have been around since last year, I can never trust Shaka ever again for what he's done to me.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Oh, brother, let it out, man.
It's just it's too many times.
But Cam Jones is my dog, man. One of my favorite players in the country.
Yep.
So end with some positivity.
I'll give him some respect. I'll give him some respect.
Yeah.
And I love Shaka, man. That's the thing is I love. I was about to say I love you, bro. Pause, but I do. I respect you.
I do. Yeah. Oh,
let's lock in, man. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Next up, 4 seed Texas Tech against 13 seed Akron. Texas Tech, their game against Arizona State, it was a double OT game. One of my favorite games of the year. JT Toppin was in his Duffy. As for Akron, the smallest team in the country, they shoot the 3-ball very well. They space the floor very well. And I've got a 13 seed advancing in the tournament, beating Texas Tech in the upset.
I don't have that. I have Texas Tech, but I'll respect it.
They're not done. But
I agree. I agree. I
okay.
agree because it doesn't matter who. All right, let's.
All right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm off that. I'm
Um
off.
Next up we got 6 seed Missouri going up against 11 seed San Diego State. Again, Mo, Mountain West. Go ahead and take it away.
Man, did I already mention? I'm forgetting. If I don't think this San Diego State team is what they have been in past years.
I don't know.
And Missouri is, I believe this is correct, 4-1 against the top 25 this season. San Diego State lost a couple too many pieces to that Final Four run. Butler's in Kentucky. Forgetting the other guys' names in Arizona. It's just a different team, different vibe. I'm out on the Aztecs. Give me Missouri in this matchup.
I am joining you in this one. I'm kind of surprised that San Diego State is comfortably in. Missouri's been hot the last month of basketball. Mark Mitchell with 25 points in that thrashing of Oklahoma, who's another tournament caliber team. I love this Missouri team a lot. You're gonna see it as I fill out this bracket. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you.
Perfect.
Next up, we got Wisconsin going up against Chattanooga. I feel like the Badgers are a little underrated in terms of people are just not like talking about them, and they're a very
Yeah.
good team. They
And a
continue to
good
just rack
conference.
up. Yes, yeah, like I don't know. I don't hear them getting the mainstream love that I think they deserve. They play with a fast pace, and I'm taking them to knock down Chattanooga here.
I got the Huskers, the Badgers as
I
well.
was like, wait,
Um,
whoa, okay, Nebraska.
yeah, no, I swear. Yeah, I agree. They are a little under the radar. Net 16, 9-4 in
Yeah.
conference. Undefeated this season on neutral site games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
give me a
That's we're in agreement. Next up, the Blue Jays taking on the Baylor Bears, who are another team that is sitting comfortably in. Creighton is 32nd in the net, 5-3 in quad one, 6-4 in quad two. Started the year off very poorly and have really picked it up since. Give me Creighton. Give me the Blue Jays. VJ Edgecombe for Baylor has looked like the NBA guy that we expect him to be, but I like this Blue Jays team.
I agree. I also have Creighton. Baylor, they've had some great stretches this season, but just haven't really, caught in that full flow that I'm looking for. Too many differing results, I'd say. I need some more streakiness out of the Bears if I'm gonna
I
have them
agree.
winning this matchup. But
I agree.
also tough in
Which
quad one,
leaves us
4-8 in quad one. Sorry.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they
And they lost to Gonzaga by 30, 40, something, almost 40.
Yeah.
So I'm out.
Oh, dude, yeah, I saw that game live. The opener, seeing Joe Few get baptized like that is one of the craziest moments of my life.
That was
No hate
early, man.
at all, but
Yeah.
that was unbelievable. Next up, Tennessee versus Townsend. I'll say it right now. Tennessee has a serious and I mean serious scoring problem. Defensively, they're locked in.
Yep.
That offense gets stagnant too frequently, and if they don't tighten that up, they could be an early exit. I'm laying it out there. And listen, if any Tennessee fan thinks I'm hating, I picked you guys to win the title last year. This is no knock on the program as a whole, but that offense is giving me more and more concern.
I got the stats to back you up. 137th in total points per game at 74. 107th in the nation in effective field goal percentage. Yeah, just too inconsistent, man. If you're a 2 seed, that's not those aren't 2 seed stats, unfortunately. But you got the wins, you got the quad spots, but I agree. I have them winning this game, but it's scary.
Yeah. Next up, round of 32. Florida versus UConn, Mo. Are you doing it? Is there Dan Hurley magic in the air?
Dude, it's so tough. I really like this team, man. We didn't even mention Solo Ball. If he has a game, if he could drop 20, 15, this team is like just set to win, man. Like he is a
he's a dog.
So good. So good. But you're going up against a different monster in Florida. I got the Gators.
I've got the Gators as well. Tremendous team, and if I'm Florida, I'm pissed. I'd rather take the 2 seed and not have to deal with UConn in the round of 32. If I'm being totally honest, than having to have this. So I'm with you there. I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. I had Akron versus Marquette. Give me the Zips.
I got Texas Tech. Give me the Texas Tech too.
Wow, so we are flipped. Thank you for telling me. I know it's invalid. Google, thank you.
We're just hating.
I know. Yeah, I've got Akron going on a Sweet 16 run as a 13 seed. I've loved watching them play this year. Am I feeling a little bold because it's not real games? Maybe, but I'm standing on business right now.
I like it.
Missouri and Wisconsin. We both had this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Who have you got?
Man, I'm gonna stick with Wisconsin cheeseheads to get it done, but Missouri, they're a damn good team, bro. It's just dude, wait, that is so cap because they've lost to Tennessee and Texas A&M. So that stat I said earlier is complete falsification. This team sucks. No, I'm playing, but
everything I said.
Yeah, I still think they could. I still have them over San Diego State, but as you said, I'm thinking people are a little too snoozy on Wisconsin.
I think so as well. I've got the Badgers advancing, and I also have an upset. I've got the Blue Jays knocking off Tennessee.
Creighton. I feel like I do this like every year. I have Creighton going deep, and it comes back to bite me. Maybe I need to start giving them the Shaka treatment. But
Kalkbrenner is him, man. He is such a good player. Yeah. This Creighton team similarly has dealt with injury and has really, since getting healthier, started to click. So while their resume is weird, 6-4 in quad 2 is not good. But I'm liking what I'm seeing recently. Give me the hot hand in Creighton.
Come on.
Next up, I have Florida versus Akron. And this is where the magic ends. I've got 1 seed Florida going to the Elite Eight.
Dude, how chalk fested, but I also have Florida getting it done, adding to the SEC takeover.
It's unbelievable. We'll save this for another video. I'm not even gonna ask, but yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, man. I'm. It's stupid. The SEC is stupid.
Dumb.
Wisconsin versus Creighton. Do you have the Blue Jays advancing again, or have you got the Badgers?
Sorry about that, everybody. Some technical difficulties there, but Zay, to answer your question, now that I've had some time to think about it, give me the Badgers
I
to
do too.
end the run of Creighton. Thankfully, that cut out because I originally took the Blue Jays, but I sat on it and came to
That's
my
what that time
senses.
does.
But we'll see. We'll see.
It's what that time does, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Florida versus Wisconsin, and honestly, for the sake of this not being an SEC invitational, I'm going with Wisconsin. I love this Gators team, but I
Let's
like
do
what
it.
the Badgers
Yeah,
are doing.
I agree. I'm sick of this. It's getting ridiculous.
Look at this, man.
But
3
we know who's
SEC teams in
winning
the
it.
Final Four.
We know what conference is winning
Wow.
it.
Oh, I was like, wow, that was
Sorry.
disrespectful to the other guys.
Sorry. Sorry.
A&M versus Auburn, Mo. You got the top dog taking care of business.
I do.
Yeah, I do too. And the next team, I'll go ahead and say it, is the matchup we're gonna see this weekend. I've got
I
Bama.
agree. We have the national championship coming up this weekend.
I am so excited to tune in. And without further ado, I'm picking Auburn to win the title.
I have Auburn Tigers winning it all. Alabama, as good as they are, too reliant on the offense. I'm worried, man. I know they can put up over
I
100
get
a
it.
game, but it's the same thing that came back to bite them last year. So
I get it.
we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not mad, man. I've got the Tigers too. I think they've been the best team in basketball all year. I'm still taking them, and that's your champion for this first bracketology.
Yep.
Long video. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts, everything like that. And before we sign off, Mo, do you got a song of the pod?
I do. I do have a song in the pod.
Okay.
From Jaden Smith featuring Joey Badass and Rowry.
Mm-hmm.
Endless Summer. Great
Nice.
song. Great instrumentals in there. Just a floaty melody. It's nice. It's a nice song if you haven't listened to it.
Great pick. I'm going with Bad Choices by Larry June and 2 Chainz, produced by The Alchemist. Great song. That's how we're coming. That's how we're feeling. Let us know your thoughts on our first bracket, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody.
Later, everyone.